Right, so quadratic expressions. So we're going to carry on expanding brackets to obtain quadratic expressions. In this case though, the coefficient that we get of x squared is not going to be 1 or minus 1. By that we mean when we expand, we often get an expression like this, x squared plus, say, 7x plus 3. In this case, when we expand our brackets, there's going to be a number in front of the x squared that's not 1 or minus 1. Okay, so it could be 8, it could be any number. Right, hit pause, copy the lesson objective down. Once you've done that, hit play, and we'll move on to the lesson starter. Right, so here's our lesson starter. Hit pause, have a go. Once you've done that, hit play, and we'll go through the questions together. Okay, so first one, find 2 9s of 45. Two ways of doing this. Okay, we can divide by 9 and then multiply by 2, which is fine. So we can do 45 divided by 9, which is 5, and then we multiply the 5 by the numerator. 5 times 2, which is 10. Or, okay, and we're doing more and more of these, so hopefully you're more familiar. 2 out of 9 of means times, so times 45, and we cancel then. We see how many times 9 can go into 45. So 9 goes into itself 1 time, into 45 5 times. Makes it so much easier doing it this way. So what we end up with is 5 times 2, which is 10, over 1, which is just 10. Okay, so it's a much neater method, I think. Right, second one, 14 out of 20 is a percentage. Percentage means out of 100. So we want to make this out of 100. To go from 20 to 100, I multiply by 5. So I've got to do the same thing to the numerator as I've done to the denominator. Times 5. And 14 times 5 gives me 5 times 4. 20, 0 carry 2, still looks like 20. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 2. So that's 70 out of 100. Oops. 70 out of 100, which is 70%. I was about to write percent there. Let me just rub that out so it makes sense. There we go. Okay, back to my red pen. Question number 3. Which is the best value for money? A 200ml bottle of shampoo for 82p or a 500ml bottle of shampoo for £2? So with these, when we compare, we're always trying to do the one thing, make them the same. Because if we can make them the same, then we can compare. I can't compare a 200ml bottle with a 500ml bottle, but I can compare 100ml. So on this one, on the first one, 200ml, to get to 100ml, I've divided by 2, so I've got to divide 82 by 2. Divided by 2, which is 41 pence. And on the 500ml bottle, 100ml is going to cost, to get from 500 to 100 is divide by 5, so I've got to divide £2 or 200p divided by 5, which gives me 40 pence. So make sure you state that the 500ml bottle is better value. By 1p. Per mil. Okay, sorry, per 100ml. Okay, question number 4. How long does a 1752 from Liverpool take to get to Nottingham? Well, 1752, that's from Liverpool. It's going to arrive in Nottingham at 2036. So I've got to go from 1752 to 2036. So if I start at 1752, what I do is I do a little timeline. I go to 1800 hours. So to go from 1752 to 1800, that's 8 minutes. And I go from 1800 to 2000, which is 2 hours. And I go from 2000 to 2036, which is 36 minutes. So adding all those together, I get 2 hours, 36 plus 8, and 44 minutes. Okay. Make your corrections. Don't rag it just yet, because I've got a couple more questions for you to go through. There you go. So hit pause. Complete the questions. When you're done, hit play, and we'll go through the questions. Well, on question 5, what's the multiplier for a 15% decrease? So it's going down from 100. So 100%, take away 15%, leaves me with 85%. And 85% as a decimal is 0.85. So as our multiplier. Okay. Use the conversion graph to change 40 kilometers into miles. So here's our kilometers along the x-axis and miles along the y-axis. So we want to look at 40 kilometers. So we draw a line until it hits the curve. I can't draw a very straight line on here. And then where it hits the curve, I draw a cross and read off, and it's 25 miles. Name the shapes. Well, it's quite straightforward today. Rectangle, 5-sided shape, pentagon, and a 3-sided shape is a triangle. I'm torn between whether it's 2 sides or 3 sides that are identical. If it's 2 sides, then it's isosceles. If all 3 sides are equal, then it's an equilateral triangle. Okay? If you put isosceles or equilateral, as long as you understand the difference, I'm quite happy for you to take the marks on that. And to finish then, mark your work and rag rate it. Once you've done that, hit play, and we're going to look at some examples of expanding brackets. So these expansions are very similar to what we did in the last lesson. Okay, in this case we've got to multiply 2x plus 4 by x minus 3. Right, so we multiply everything in these brackets by everything in these brackets. So we start with a 2x. So our 2x has got to multiply the x in the first instance, and then multiply 3. 2x times x gives us 2x squared. And 2x times minus 3 gives us minus 6x. I'm just going to use a blue arrow for the 4. So 4 is going to multiply the x, and then 4 is going to multiply the minus 3 after that. So, back to red. 4 times x gives us plus 4x. And then we got 4 times minus 3, which is minus 12. If we simplify now, because the two middle terms are both terms in x, we got 2x squared minus 6x plus 4x is minus 2x minus 12. Okay? So we just got to be mindful that we've got a coefficient here of x squared, and we've got to be careful with our negatives and positives. Okay. Let's have a look at this question here. So this time I've got 3x, which is going to multiply both terms in the brackets here, and then I'll multiply both terms by minus 4. So let's do the 3x first. Let's put the arrows in. So I've got 3x times 5x. Do the numbers. 3 times 5 is 15, and x times x is x squared. Then 3x times minus 3, be careful of the negative, that's minus 9x. And I'm just going to use a blue pen to show the arrows. Minus 4 times both terms here. It's back to red. So minus 4 times 5 gives me 20, minus 20, and don't forget the x, minus 20x. And minus 4 times minus 3, and minus times a minus gives me plus 12. And when I simplify, I got 15x squared. Minus 9x minus 20x is minus 29x plus 12. Okay. I'm just going to, so again, be careful with the coefficient of x squared. We call this number in front of the x squared a coefficient. Be careful with that. And the number in front of the x, we also call that a coefficient. So this is a coefficient of x, is 3. The coefficient of x squared is 15. Let's just put a bubble here showing when we multiply, a plus times a plus, positive times positive will give us positive. Positive times a negative is going to be negative. A negative times a positive is negative, and when two negatives multiply each other, we get a positive. So as you can see from our bubble, when the signs are the same, they're positive. When the signs are different, they're negative. Okay, so hit pause, make some notes, copy the examples. Once you've done that, hit play, and we'll look at a couple more questions for you. Okay. So this time we've got 4 questions, and what I want you to do is to have a go. And once you've done that, hit pause, and we'll go through them. Okay, so let's have a look at these questions we got here. First one we got is 2x plus 2 multiplied by x minus 3. So remember, every term in this bracket multiplies every term in this bracket. Let's multiply everything by the 2x first. So we've got 2x times x gives us 2x squared, and then 2x times minus 3 is minus 6x. And then we multiply, just going to switch to blue. The 2 then multiplies both terms in the other brackets. 2 times x is going to be 2x plus 2x, and then 2 times minus 3 is minus 6. And that's going to be equal to, when we simplify, 2x squared minus 6x plus 2x, so minus 4x minus 6. Okay, let's look at question 2. 3x minus 2 times x plus 5. So the 3x multiplies both terms, which is 3x times x gives us 3x squared, and 3x times 5 gives us 15x, plus 15x. And if I can use a blue pen now, minus 2 multiplies both terms. So back to red. Minus 2 times x, minus 2x, and then minus 2 times 5 is minus 10, which is equal to, simplifying, 3x squared. 15x minus 2x is plus 13x minus 10. Third example, let's use the arrows again. The 2x multiplies both terms in the first instance. So 2x times 3x, numbers first, 2 times 3 is 6, x times x is x squared. 2x times minus 4, minus 8x. And if I can get a blue pen, got minus 1 times both terms. So we've got minus 1 times 3x minus 3x. Whoops. I wanted to change to a red pen there. Let's just get rid of that. And go back to red. Right. So minus 1 times 3x minus 3x. And minus 1 times minus 4 is going to be plus 4. If we simplify, we've got 6x squared. We've got minus 8x minus 3x minus 11x plus 4. And on this one, we've got 5x minus 3 times the same terms again, 5x minus 3. So 5x multiplies both terms first. 5x times 5x is 25x squared. That's a 5. And then 5x times minus 3 is minus 15x. And if I can get my blue pen. So I've got minus 3 times both terms. Just switch back to red. So we've got minus 3 times 5x minus 15x, and minus 3 times minus 3 plus 9, which is equal to 25x squared. Minus 15x minus 15x is minus 30x plus 9. Okay, good. So what I want you to do now is mark and then rag your work. Once you've done that, hit play, and I've got some classwork for you. So hit pause now, mark and rag, and when you're ready, hit play. Right, I've got 7 questions for you, so hit pause, have a go. Once you're done, hit play, and we'll go through the answers. Right, first one, A, should have 2x squared plus 16x plus 14. For B, 3x squared plus 27x plus 24. For C, should have 4x squared minus 15x minus 4. For D, should have 6x squared plus x minus 15. Plus E, should have 3x squared minus 14x plus 15. For F, you got 20y squared minus 4y minus 24. And then for G, we've got 9x squared minus 36. So there's no term in x in this one. Right, again, as we always do, rag your work. Once you've done that, I've got a worksheet for you to complete. Okay, so I want you to work through exercise 12b for me. Start from 1 to 21 there. Good luck.